What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another Warzone mobile video. So today I do want to give my initial thoughts on how the game is, I guess, currently running right now, my concerns, and I guess my overall experience playing it. So as you guys know, this game it felt like it was kind of released early. Of course, not a lot of people see this game as playable right now, specifically with the Android users, which is, I guess, going to be the first part of this topic, which is how the game is currently functioning. So the Android users, I would say, are probably dealing with the worst issues. So, a lot of people are having their phones burn up, they're overheating, they're having a lot of frame drop issues, there's a lot of graphical issues. I think I saw like one video of like the floor in Verdansk had these zebra type of stripes that were going around it. It was just a mess all over the place. So of course they released some patches, some mini updates to improve, I guess, the performance of both iOS and Android devices. And for the most part, it didn't really seem to do much. Most people are still having a lot of issues running the game. My friend Parker told me that he has to, relaunch the game every single time he finishes one, because if not, he's gonna get kicked out. And honestly, it's kind of a shame because I was hoping to, spend, I guess, the majority of the time grinding alongside him and some other friends as well. But it doesn't really seem to be the case, unfortunately. Something that's kind of like one of my bigger, I guess, issues within this game right now. We were hyped when the game was going to be released, but I mean, throughout the majority of me playing this game, grinding out Interstellar, it hasn't really been all that fun because I've barely been able to play with any of my friends, and because, well, let's be honest, it's a big adjustment, that's one, but also it's just like the performance of how the game is, which is just another thing in and of itself. And yeah, it's been just kind of been lonely, I won't lie. And the sad part is that a lot of people have assumed that this game was made primarily for iOS devices, which kind of does make sense. I understand their point of view, mainly because, I mean, there are Android devices that could be far superior to iPhone 15s or maybe even the iPad M1s or M2s, but for some reason they're performing like it's like a Nintendo 64 trying to run an Xbox 360 game. There are phones out there on the Samsung side, or even just on the Android side in general, where they are literally built to be gaming phones, and for some reason they just cannot function correctly with this game. There's a lot of devices out there on the Android side that are supposed to be running uncapped frames, or at least they're built that way, but they could barely even run 60 frames. And I think one time there was like a developer or someone on the Warzone mobile Twitter page that said, "Oh, have you tried 30 frames?" It's like, dude, why? That's such a stupid thing. I mean, that's probably the dumbest response I've ever heard. But as it goes for the iOS side, I mean, the iPad M2s are probably the only devices that are running, basically well. I mean, I can't run peak graphics while being uncapped for some reason. There's a huge frame drop. I don't know if it's a bug within the system, or maybe our devices are not strong enough to handle that. I'm not really that sure. But keep in mind, there might be another iPad Pro in the future within a few months, so it might be able to run that. But again, it could always be a bug, and for all we know, they could just fix it within the April 3rd update. But I do have issues myself. Sometimes the game just crashes out of nowhere. I still get that temperature bug where my device is overheating, which probably shouldn't be a thing. But again, I don't know how demanding this game truly is. Yeah, I have issues too, but I mean, I don't really complain about it too much because, people on the Android side are dealing with far worse issues. So I really feel like I don't have a right to complain. So hopefully all goes well within the April 3rd update. They did say that they worked on a lot. I think one of the devs said that they were exhausted, like they pretty much worked themselves into that point. So, I mean, they better mean what they say, because, they already have a huge bad first impression. And I'm not sure even after this update, people are going to be more than inclined to return. So now let's actually talk about the matchmaking. So at least when it first came out, the matchmaking seemed to be fine. It is, I would say it's a lot less intensive than I would say Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. Skill-based matchmaking, it does seem to kind of be there. But at the same time, there are some matches where it doesn't. Of course, the way that skill-based matchmaking works is that if you lose too many matches, it'll give you a few easy ones, and they'll put you back probably a few matches later to the harder matches. So that's kind of how it works. But also something I have noticed, and I've seen a lot of people on Twitter talk about this as well. I think the EOMM, or I guess the engagement optimized matchmaking features, are also implemented with this game as well. You know, there are times where, you know, a lot of people are losing gunfights that they shouldn't actually be losing. I think the skill-based damage stuff that, you know, people have been talking about last year as well as in this game, I think it does exist. I've experienced it many times. I mean, you know, even my friend Parker, I was streaming the game on Discord for him to see. We came across a lot of that type of stuff. And yeah, I think just as Modern Warfare 2 is and Modern Warfare 3, I think this game with its gunfights is a little bit rigged as well. There will be matches like where, for example, I'm using an SMG or an assault rifle where it kills like in about 3 to 4 shots as normal, but then there will be times where it takes like an entire magazine to kill just a single person. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. And obviously, given their history with skill-based matchmaking or engagement-based matchmaking or whatever it's called, I don't really think that's going to change anywhere in the near future, at least when it comes to multiplayer. And the way that this gunfight situation is happening, it makes it even harder for those, especially those who are using Modern Warfare 2 weapons, to even use them in the first place, which brings us to the next point, which is weapon balancing. So I do understand that Modern Warfare 3 weapons are the newest ones around. And yes, I do understand they're trying to make them relevant, so they want all the players to use them more than the Modern Warfare 2 weapons. But it's another thing when the Modern Warfare 2 guns basically do no damage and are far slower than the Modern Warfare 3 guns. And that's really an issue for me because, I mean, I like using some of the Modern Warfare 2 guns, like the M4, the TAC-56, or even the Lockman 5.56. You know, those are guns I enjoyed back in Modern Warfare 2. And the problem is that they lack in comparison to the Modern Warfare 3 guns. Like not only in speed, but in damage and everything, aim shake, all that stuff. In every single way that you could think of, the Modern Warfare 3 weapons are far better. I would say it's so bad it's gone to the point where they might as well just delete the Modern Warfare 2 weapons and just have the Modern Warfare 3 guns just there. Because there's really no point in grinding those weapons. And keep in mind, since they do less damage than the Modern Warfare 3 guns, getting long shots, you know, challenges like that, headshots are far, far harder than, of course, the Modern Warfare 3 guns. And that's the thing, the Orion grind requires you to get 25 long shots for every single gun that can at least shoot a bullet 25 times. And those are the platinum challenges. Of course, when it comes to polyatomic, that might be easier because, I mean, headshots do naturally come around. But when it's long shots, it's a different story. I mean, I struggled immensely to get the long shots for the Modern Warfare 3 assault rifles, which I did, of course. I've already done basically all the priceless challenges that I can do. But with Modern Warfare 2 guns, it seems even less possible. Unless maybe in the future we get access to hardcore modes, maybe it will be a lot easier to do, given that you could really only shoot like 1 to 2 shots in long range. So it might make it easier if they do add that, but as of right now, if for anyone that's going for Orion, I don't really recommend doing so because you're going to have a far harder time. And even if Rust does make its way into the game, I mean, it obviously is, but you know, even if Rust makes it into the game, it's not really going to change anything. It doesn't fix all the aim shake issues and the slowness of the Modern Warfare 2 guns in general. So you're still going to struggle either way. And I know from experience because I've used the Kastov 7.62. That's like, I guess, the stronger AK-47. And getting long shots seems kind of impossible because for some reason the hit marker is kind of out of place. I think it's a little bit below where you're actually hitting. So yeah, we have issues like that make it even harder. So overall, if you're going to think of a weapon grind, I just recommend doing Interstellar because that's far easier. And not every Forge challenge or Priceless challenge is going to be long shots. The only time you're ever really going to deal with long shots is just with all the assault rifles, unless they change it within the update. But also, I think with the Sidewinder, to get Priceless, you do have to get 25 long shots as well. And that is a working challenge. It did work for me. I did unlock it. So yeah, but of course with the Sidewinder, it's a much stronger weapon, so you shouldn't struggle that hard compared to assault rifles. So I guess this brings us to our final point, which is also the camo challenges. So the camo challenges, for the most part, are pretty simple. At least when it comes to the Interstellar side, you know, the Modern Warfare 3 guns. Some challenges are bugged, of course. There's complaints that people can't get their HRM to forged because no matter how many times they do those kills after sprinting, it doesn't work. The same could go for the shotguns. There are challenges for Gilded where you have to get 2 kills in 1 life shortly after sprinting. That one doesn't work as well for all of the shotguns. Unless you go into Modern Warfare 3, it will count, but if you only have access to this game, then you're pretty much shit out of luck until the update comes out. The Ram 9 as well, I think that one's bugged too, because I did get 10 jump shots and for some reason it's not counting. Also for Priceless on the KV Enforcer, that one also is bugged as well. It tells you to get kills with an 8-time scope. Did that many times, I got like over 100 kills with that. Did not count whatsoever, so yeah, that's another issue. For the MTZ 556, that one's also broken. It doesn't let you get those 10, or like it doesn't count those 10 kills after stunning an enemy. So that one for Priceless isn't working. I mean, there's just plenty of issues. I think the XRK Stalker Priceless challenges are also broken as well. It tells you to get 10 kills after sprinting. That one doesn't work as well. Or I think it's 20 kills, I don't know, but yeah, I've gone way more than that. Still not counting. I think the Holger 556 is also broken for Forged. They also tell you to get kills with like an underbarrel attachment, like a shotgun or a grenade launcher. That one doesn't work as well. I mean, there's just plenty of guns out there that like it got to the point where I barely had enough to get Priceless. There are bugs to the snipers as well. You know, the Cat AMR, the XRK Stalker worked just fine, but the KV inhibitor as well as the longbow do not work at all. Well, at least not how they're supposed to. If you go into Modern Warfare 3, they could one-shot in the upper chest. In this game, they only one-shot if you shoot in the head. So unfortunately, you're going to have to do the challenges in a much more harder way. But I chose the KV inhibitor because it has easier challenges over the longbow where you have to get 5 kills without dying 5 times by the time you get to Priceless, which is an issue because getting 5 headshots in a row 5 times is not necessarily the easiest thing that you can do. And when I did the Priceless challenges for the inhibitor, it was far easier because all you had to do was just get 5 headshots while moving. It didn't matter how many times you died. It only requires 3 snipers to get forged, but yeah, the snipers aren't working the way that they should, and I'm not really too sure whether or not they have that fixed within this next update. The same could be said about the marksman rifles. I would say the KB Enforcer is probably the only one that actually functions like a marksman rifle. The other ones just are completely weak. They do no damage. Takes about 3 to 4 shots to kill, and for the MTZ Interceptor, you need like a 5 kill streak like 5 times, which was very difficult because when I looked into Modern Warfare 2, I researched all of these weapons and how they function in that game. They are far superior to what they are in this game because the marksman rifles, at least in that game, should be killing in 2 shots. 1 to the head, but in this game, it doesn't work that way. They have far less damage, so to the point where sometimes you have to shoot 3 times in the head to even get a single kill. And the thing is, too, I'm not sure how behind they are with the weapon balancing in this game because from what I understand, you know, operators, well, not operator skills, I was freaking, my brain's still with COD Mobile, but sorry about that. What I meant is that the amps, you know, the weapon conversion kits don't function that well, I would say. There's one with the one that's like completely overpowered, the one for the Bass B that turns into like this kind of lever action is completely overpowered. You cannot win a single gunfight against it. But the thing is that from what I understand, it's actually nerfed in Modern Warfare 3. I think it does like less damage, or people struggle to actually get one-shot kills. But in this game, I don't really think it got changed at all. I think it's still in its pre-patch state. And it kind of brings me into another topic about this thing, is that they might be behind on what we have compared to Modern Warfare 3. I mean, we don't have the Soul Render, we don't have the SOA or whatever that battle rifle was that everyone got in Modern Warfare 3. Like, those things do not exist in this game right now. I did hear some rumors that the SO8 Subverter was actually supposed to be exclusive to Modern Warfare 3, but I'm not too sure about that. That could just be a simple rumor. As for the Soul Render, I'm not really that sure as well. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. For all we know, they could probably put it in the Arsenal store for next season, because I know those were guns that were intended to be released for this season, but it just never made it into this game for some reason. So for all of you guys that may have unlocked all the Modern Warfare 3 weapons already, I would say keep grinding those daily challenges for those coins, because for all you know, they could release those next season in the Arsenal store. So by the time the update comes out, you guys will have enough to get all those weapons. But yeah, overall, I mean, the game, at least functioning for me, I'm enjoying it for what it is. I know it's not perfect, obviously. I mean, especially for Android, it's far from perfect. It's probably the farthest thing from. And I will agree. I mean, it's probably the worst launch that we've ever had for a Call of Duty game, or any mobile game in general, because of all the bugs and everything. But it makes me wonder whether or not the devs were actually forced to release the game earlier than it was intended. Evidence of that is, you know, there are some weapons that are missing from this game. You know, the balancing isn't as great as it should be. And it's just, you know, all the bugs with Android and iOS as well. I mean, you know, it feels like this game was supposed to be released at a later time. And yeah, you guys could tell me that, like, it takes probably it took them like 2.5 years or so to make this game. But at the same time, they did have a downsizing of employees, so for all we know, they probably fired a lot of devs and made it harder to even to develop the game in the first place. So for all we know, I mean, that could be the reason why the game isn't functioning as it should. But who knows, maybe in this April 3rd update, it might fix most of the issues. Maybe the game might look far better than what it does look right now. But yeah, and also hopefully the challenges for Interstellar are fixed as well, because I just need a few more guns to actually unlock it. So yeah, that's another thing. I was actually kind of like worried about that, because I barely had enough. Like, I think I had just enough to get to start the priceless challenges. So my main worry was that if one of those challenges didn't work, then I was completely barred from Interstellar. So yeah, that pretty much confirms, at least right now, that the game is currently like ungrindable for Interstellar, no matter how hard you try. So like I said, if any of you guys have access to Modern Warfare 3, I recommend just finishing off the challenges there, because it might be easier, and plus you have the access of hardcore. And plus the assault rifle challenges are tac stance instead of long shots, so that's another plus. But for all of you guys that only have access to this game, then I do recommend just waiting until the update comes out so you could finish off the grind. But anyways, that's all I have to say for my first impressions of this game. Hopefully the update does fix a lot, like I said. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys next time. And yeah, have a wonderful day.